I think she will get a bounce in the polls. She gave a very, very disciplined performance. The speech was relatively short. It was 40 minutes. She managed to mix the personal, telling her personal story, with some points about policy. I mean, it was still fairly broad brushstroke. And she also got in some attacks on Trump. So she highlighted the potential demagoguery of a second Trump term, but also diminished him. I mean, she called him an unserious man. So that was probably the darkest passage of the speech. But this was a speech about moving forward. It was a speech about unity, so trying to get away from the divisions which still rack the country and also are still very evident in the Democratic Party. This was trying to bring people together, economically very focused on the middle classes and supporting them. She talked about a Trump tax, putting $4,000 on the average American family's tax bill, and how she wouldn't do that. But equally, she picked up strongly on women's rights, but also there was a strong international package within it. So talking about supporting Ukraine, talking about supporting Israel, quite a difficult tightrope to walk on there, in that she was also expressing hopes for the Palestinian people. It was a very well-crafted speech, and I think what we saw possibly for the first time, certainly since she's become vice president, was a passionate Harris. Now she needs to bring that passion forward into the next 75 days.
Relatively speaking, though, that it felt like it was lighter on economic goals and really policy details. And I feel like the campaign is now sort of walking back, especially when it comes to price gouging or the food price control as well. You know, what are your takes when it comes to her economic policy that's been laid out so far?
Yeah, I would say that tonight was not really the night to go into deep detail on that. That's not what the audience was there for. And this was also an introductory speech to the country, who has only known Kamala Harris in the shadow of Joe Biden. She has to make Americans feel that the Biden economic policy is working. But she also has to put a bit of clear blue water between herself and Joe Biden and move on from Bidenomics. So the idea of trying to bring controls in to stop price gouging, to go for the big profit makers who are really, really doing very well out of America's recovery, she's got to be much more forceful on that. She's got to show Americans that inflation matters, and that bringing inflation down will arrest the rapid hike in prices. Americans are still nostalgic for the cheaper prices in the store and at the fuel pumps that Donald Trump offered during his presidency. She's also got to go really strong on areas like the price of medicines, the price of drugs, making them affordable for average Americans.